Hey, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's cracking, what's good, what it do, what's popping? It is Friday. I have to say that with pause. It is Friday. It's right up there with it is finished. It's May 8th, and it is 3:50 in the a.m. I'm getting ready to dive into my paperwork because Lord knows I have a ton of it. But I wanted to say this, just give you food for thought over the weekend and see where this goes. I'm looking at the comments, y'all. So I'm in the habit of watching the morning news before I get ready for work, just to get a feel for how the day is going to flow as far as political climate, as far as activities, because this administration is so unpredictable and so shaky and so shady, that you just gotta have your head on swivel and your eyes open. That being said, with each new revelation on how crooked, how vampiric, how underhanded, how grimy folks are, in their political maneuverings and their desires to be top dog. And I need to say this, and you guys can lose your minds if you want to. I don't care. People of color, in other words, aka alias known as black folk, I'm going to say, I want to say they're going to say it with a certain level of surety, and they're going to stand flat-footed saying, Cash Patel, you are considered, and I know this is going to send you reeling, bruh, you are considered the N-word in the circle that you're running with or trying to keep up with. And in that song in the movie Sinners, they're gonna pick poor rabbit clean. You're gonna be the offering. And the same for Uncle Ruckus on the Supreme Court. They're going to pick you clean. And by they, I mean the very circle that you think you're running with and in line with. Yeah, you're enjoying the cash payments now. Your legacy is toast. Not that you ever had one. From the time you were inducted into the Supreme Court. See, brother, we never forgot Anita Hill. And given the circles that you're running with, and the checks, and the trips, and your wife, we remember. Now that was just a preface to what I'm getting ready to say about the level of grime and graft. They're coming for Cuba. So you good Latinos, Hispanics, however you want to be identified as, they're coming for your folks. And they don't care who they starve out to get what they want. You were enjoying proximity. You were enjoying being adjacent to whiteness, if there is such a thing. Because truth be told, whether you like it or not, there's a whole bunch of black folks with Irish surnames and British surnames. But you don't want to talk about that part of your history. Anywho, for the folks with Spanish blood, because it does speak of European colonizers, doesn't it? They're coming for Cuba. And everything that your conservative, because that's what you ran on, conservative values, as opposed to your own racism and your own caste system within your own people. And I don't want you to feel ashamed of that, because everything the colonizers touched has a caste system. But Cuba is about to be decimated. There's that empty bravado discussing Iran again. There's talk about the condition that for those of you who know people with dementia or Alzheimer's, there is a phase of the diminished capacity that's called sundowners, where people just kind of lose it as the day goes on. You know, they call dementia and Alzheimer's the long goodbye. And I want to say, my mother's passing, she disguised it well for a very long time. But then when it hit, it was glaring. I mean, it was glaring and painful to watch. And we're seeing the same thing in leadership of this country. And because everybody's standing on everybody's shoulders, pretending to be tall, pretending to have some power, pretending to have some clout, some stature, when all they really want to do is steal and be recognized by the public, those folks are upholding this long goodbye, as opposed to protecting the democratic process as they were sworn in to do. Until these folks are ousted or come to their senses and are as outraged as the average Joes, we're going to continue to be isolated. See, we're in a form of domestic abuse, because our abusers are isolating us from our allies, where they can continue to beat on us. I know you never thought of it in these terms, but that's exactly what's going on. And the folks who thought they had the luxury of looking the other way are now starting to get thumped on. But you were okay when you thought it was just happening to a certain group, and that certain group being black people. Yeah. I feel for the legacy that we're laying down for years to come. And I need to say, I'm going to remember each and every person. And I'm going to teach the people, the younger folks in my family, to remember the folks who remained silent, who, in their silence, impacted their future.